What's up, you guys? Godzilla fan freaks coming at you today with another figure review, and today we are going to be taking a look at the X Plus 30 centimeter favorite sculptors line Cybot Godzilla 1984. Let me just get started with this figure and just say how amazing and beautiful it is. It is absolutely stunning to see it in person. I've only seen pictures and videos until I decided to order one for myself from Kaiju Live. They had a great end of the year sale for 2024. And as you guys have seen already, this, if you didn't see the box day for it already, this guy was my first box day of 2025. And what a box day it was. What a figure this is. Absolutely amazing. Took me a minute to get the review out on this guy because you will not believe it. Shortly after I did that first box day video of 2025, I immediately came down with flu-like symptoms. It was bad. It was crazy. I had a really bad fever that was hard to get under control, and it just knocked me on my butt for a minute, and I wasn't able to get out a review on this guy sooner. But I'm all better now. We're all good to go. I'm excited to do this review. The way the figure is posed, as you can see, it does kind of cast shadows and stuff here and there, and he is a full 30 centimeter figure. We'll get on into that when we get into scaling. But so this guy is very hard to fit into the camera frame, but I actually was able to adjust it, pull my camera back a little bit, and widen the lens into where he fits pretty picture perfect as he sits right now. But absolutely fantastic, beautiful figure. I love the design of the Cybot. As Nick Adams from the Monster Report has said before, and I agree with him, I want the Cybot out in front of my house. I mean, the Cybot is, if you don't know what the 84 Cybot is, the 84 Cybot in the movie does take up certain scenes. You might notice that Godzilla is more, the zoom ins on the face and kind of maybe like the upper torso shots and stuff like that are close up. That is all the Cybot. It is a gigantic, fully Godzilla animatronic robot, basically, that was operated by, I forget how many people it took to operate and run that thing. But I mean, we're talking, this thing's massive. Like, compared to a human, I think I should have brought the Toho SFX special effect book for Godzilla 1984, because they do have some pictures and stuff of, some of the cast members standing next to the Cybot. And I mean, they come up to like not even just maybe barely above the knee. Like, this is how big it is to an average, size person in real life. I mean, this thing was huge. And again, for the certain scenes in the movie and whatnot, it looks fantastic. I mean, my opening and my outro for my videos on my channel, that shot of the Godzilla 1984 roaring, that is the close-up shot of the Cybot. I mean, it's just an awesome animatronic. It's awesome to get it in figure form. I definitely want to eventually pick up the Bandai Cybot one of these days. I definitely want to get the Bandai Movie Monster Series Cybot. And now, of course, it is out of stock on the Godzilla store. And everywhere else that I look, I can't find it for retail anymore. So I might have missed the boat on that one. I have my fingers crossed, though, that the Godzilla store does get some more of those in stock. Because, there's not enough representation of the Cybot in people's collections. It's like you have this thing, which is awesome. You have the Bandai, and actually this, just because it's from the favorite sculptors line, this was originally a model kit, but who originally came out with the model kit or the original piece that this is sculpted after, I do not remember. Leslie Chambers or anyone else who wants to chime in the comment section, definitely appreciate all that info for those that are more knowledgeable than me on like model kits and things like that. But let's dive right on into this figure review. Enough blabbering on, and let's look at paint applications, paint job. Let's look at the colors on this guy. So of course, Godzilla, you're just going to have your standard charcoal blackish gray all throughout the body. You do have some kind of lighter gray, you know, dry brushing to bring out some highlights and whatnot. Dorsal plates, you have a very nice, you know, dark bone ivory color on the outer edges of his dorsal spines. And then, of course, all that darker shading on the inside just looks beautiful and fantastic. His claws on his hands and his feet. Let me see how it works if I zoom in here. Very nice, just continuing that bone ivory color for his claws on his hands and his feet. Just look absolutely beautiful. I mean, no bit of slop on that paint job whatsoever. It's clean. It brings out the detail very nice and just looks absolutely amazing. Looks absolutely amazing. Onto the face. Look at those eyes. Look at those beautiful Cybot eyes. And of course, you do have the vein, the eye, you know, blood vessels and veins and stuff. Very, very nicely painted in there. Can't really get it to focus 100% on that spot, but you can see them in there painted. Very nicely well done eyes, the shading, the browns, the blacks, the reds for the blood vessels look absolutely amazing. You continue to have that bone ivory color here for his teeth, and inside of the mouth you have a very nice red tongue, red gums on the roof of the mouth as well. Absolutely beautiful paint on this guy. Absolutely beautiful. He just looks amazing from any angle that you show this guy. He looks absolutely amazing. Absolutely beautiful. Now that we're done with paint, that about does it for that. Let's go into detail. Guys, look at the detail here, even in the chest and everything like that. All the scaly skin, the nice round scales here for his chest. Very, very nicely well done. Of course, you do have moments in the film where it does kind of zoom in on his chest area, especially when he has, you know, the blood dripping down from the face, you know, from the cadmium missiles and everything like that. And then, of course, you know, at moments where it shows where Godzilla's like taking a deep breath and everything like that, all of that was from the Cybot chest, you know, perspective, and just having it expand, and like, you know, when he's going to breathe his atomic breath, you know, all that fun stuff. Oh, it's just, oh, I love the detail on this figure. Very thin, very skinny here in the midsection. Of course, that is very accurate to the Cybot. That is how it looked, and you just see the sags and the folds in like the skin areas and whatnot, because this is how the animatronic looked. You know, it didn't have a very wide waist or anything like that. It did kind of thin out here in the middle just because of the under endoskeleton, if you will, of the Cybot. It's just kind of how it ended up looking, you know, especially, you know, same with the arms. The arms kind of thinner, leaner, you know, the fingers more pronounced and, you know, able to move and stuff like that. Same thing with the face, all the detailing in the skin here, the teeth individually sculpted, the nose, all of that, the dorsal spines starting at the top of the head, moving all the way down the back, just look absolutely beautiful. I mean, look at all that skin and scale detail, all the detail on the middle parts of the dorsal spines. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautifully well done. I mean, just looks amazing. The curvature of the tail, very nicely well done. You know, this guy, he's not going to take up too much room on the shelf. He's not a crazy shelf hog with the tail, but you have a very nice curve of the tail, and just, again, all that detailing of the skin running throughout that. Just looks absolutely beautiful. Even on the undersides of the tail. Just very, very nice detailing. Bottom of the feet are more or less barren. You know, you have your stamp there for, you know, X Plus, Toho, licensing stamp and everything like that. Again, just the way the arms, you can see the folds in, you know, the rubber or, you know, the latex, you know, whatever the outer part of the Cybot was for the skin. Again, all those folds and detailings are just beautifully, beautifully transferred here to this sculpt. I absolutely love this figure. It looks wonderfully fantastic. It just looks beautiful. I love how this arm kind of comes down a little more out straight, and then this arm kind of is brought up at more of kind of like almost a not a nine, kind of like that 90-degree angle, you know. So very nice pose for the Cybot. Just looks absolutely wonderful. Bring my camera back out here. Get him in the full beautiful shot. Detail, paint, no articulation. This is an X Plus figure, no articulation whatsoever. You know, he's just your standard set on the shelf figure, look pretty, beautiful representation of the Cybot. Kaiju Live did actually have the Rick Boy version of this guy in stock, but they only had one of them, and someone else bought that during the sale before I had my budget and my funds in the right spot to where I wanted to pull the trigger. So I had to settle for the standard. I still, you know, the sea louse, the giant sea louse, whatever you want to call it, that thing has been evading my collection for years. I still do not have a giant sea louse in my collection. Really wish that the one Rick Boy that they had didn't sell out before I was able to get it. I really would have liked that, to get that one, just so I could have had the giant sea lice in my collection. But this figure just on its own, still amazing. Couldn't pass up that sale. Shout out again to Kaiju Live for having that sale, because I originally did miss out on this figure, and so being able to obtain it is a very nice feeling. You know, I didn't miss out. You know, I still got it for, you know, around retail price. You know, I didn't have to pay a crazy aftermarket markup price that was, you know, double if not triple the original price. Was really happy to pick this guy up. No articulation, detail and paint, absolutely beautiful. Next on, let's move on to scaling. Let's wrap this review up with scaling. So, with this guy, again, when I mean a true 30 centimeter figure, this guy is in the realms of like Titanosaurus X Plus 30 centimeter figure. This guy is tall. He's very tall, much more taller than I expected. Here he is with the 50th anniversary Godzilla 1984. Not 30th anniversary, 50th anniversary memorial box. See that pause I had there in my head? I was like, wait a minute. I did not just butcher that. That didn't come out right. Man, I need to do reviews more often. I'm rusty. But no, here is the 50th anniversary memorial box, Bandai Godzilla 1984. That's what I meant to say. So as you can see, kind of comes up to just above the knee in the thigh area there. Again, this is just your standard 6-inch figure, and it was 84, so I had to bring it out. For a figure that is my standard measuring stick that a lot of people do have, or at least in some way, shape, or form, here is the Bandai. This is the 50th anniversary memorial box version, but this is the Bandai Godzilla 1968. And I know a lot of Godzilla collectors probably have this in their collection, and that is why I use this guy as a good measuring stick for scale, because almost everybody should have this figure in their collection. It's a great Bandai figure. But, again, comes just to about the thigh there, you know, just above the knee. So that's what you're looking at as far as like a 6-inch Bandai in comparison. So next on, let's go on to like a 25 centimeter Godzilla figure for scale. So this is the X Plus 25 centimeter Godzilla 1971. As you can see, comes up to just about the chest area. So that's what you're looking for as far as a 25 centimeter versus a 30 centimeter X Plus figure. And now here he is next to the 30 centimeter Godzilla 1984. So now this is what I meant by true 30 centimeter. This figure's a 30 centimeter. This figure's a 30 centimeter. Doesn't quite look that way, does it? But they are both 30 centimeter. It just has to do with the pose. This was a little bit bigger of a model kit, you know. So it's like, again, a true 30 centimeter, and then kind of more your basic 30 centimeter, I guess you could say. Every X Plus figure, whether it's 25 centimeter, 30 centimeter, gigantic, you know, figure from the Godzilla lines from X Plus, they're all going to come out a little different, because depending on the pose, they might be a little more at a slant, hunched over. It really depends on how the pose is, or if they're just going to be straight upright. But most of the time, as we know, X Plus puts all their things into like different type poses. So that is where you're going to get some differences in scale. But I still think, excuse me, I still think that this is fun to show off, just because you have your true 30 centimeter, and you know, this is also technically 30 centimeter. So that is what we mean when collectors, you hear them say a true 30 centimeter figure, or a true 25 centimeter, or true gigantic. We're just meaning, you know, it's bigger than your average, more or say. But that is what you're looking at, is about there. This Godzilla just barely touches the Cybot's chin as far as the way that they're posed. And now, to bring out another true 30 centimeter figure, here is Titanosaurus scaled with the Cybot, which they are, Titanosaurus just barely has maybe not even a quarter of an inch on the Cybot, just because of the top of the fin. But no, they are more or less same height-wise. So that is why I wanted to make this comparison as well, is that you have about the same uprightness and height-wise for both of these figures. And that is what you're looking at as far as scale goes with this guy. And that about wraps it up for this review, you guys. You know, keeping it, you know, simple as always. You know, paint, detail, amazing with X Plus, and this figure is no exception. It is absolutely beautiful. It's amazing. I believe at the time of this review, Kaiju Live, I'll put a link down in the description below if you haven't checked out their website yet. I believe that they still have 2 of these guys in stock. Their end of the year sale is done and over with, but they still have these guys for a real decent price. If you missed picking one up like I did, I highly recommend getting on over to Kaiju Live and getting your order in. You will not be disappointed, and it's definitely worth, whether you get it on the sale or you get it at their normal MSRP retail price. It's still an outstanding purchase. It's fantastic, and I highly recommend this for any fan of Godzilla or Godzilla 1984, especially if you're a fan of kind of more like obscure, because it's like, this isn't the suit. This is a figure based off of the giant animatronic Cybot. So, you know, if you're a fan of getting things that are more referenced to, like, you know, things that were a part of the movie that weren't the suit, you guys know what I'm trying to say. Basically stuff like that, this is 100% for you. So like always, you guys, we are Godzilla Fan Freaks. Hope you enjoyed my review here on the X Plus 30 centimeter favorite Sculptors line, Godzilla 1984 Cybot figure. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Atomic blast that notification bell. Atomic blast that like button. Go check out Godzilla Fan Freaks over on Facebook and Instagram. Like and follow my pages over there. And like always, you guys, without further ado, we are Godzilla Fan Freaks, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.